here are some tips that can help you navigate through the New World Order by tracking Uranus. We spoke about how Uranus rules over technology, groups, networks, stuff like that. Also, rebellion. Let's not leave that out. Uranus is a rebellious planet. All right. And so I'm going to put emphasis on what I mean by that as well. But it also is a planet of change. The change can be sporadic. See, these are the things that I've been leaving out, but can have a large impact on the discussion because of these attributes. But the change can be instant. It can be instantaneous. So your windfalls can be just as instantaneous. So can your downfalls. You get what I'm saying? It's an unpredictable barometer, if you will. So, let's look at the first thing that happened with the coronavirus and the technology thing. Because the first symptom that is mentioned when people are substantiating that they have it is with the throat, right? So I don't know if y'all seen it. I just seen it floating around online, like that people throats are attacked first. They get a tickle in their throat, or they can't breathe, or some shit like that, or they get a sore throat and then they start coughing, but the cough is like in their throat, like a frog is caught in their throat, and that's what the symptoms are. So again, we spoke about this a year ago, I think. Taurus rules the throat, and with Uranus moving inside of Taurus, you can expect it to have some type of impact on the body. So, and there's been discussions of how 5G networks play into this. I'm actually with a Facebook group, 5G network group, that is like fighting against the resistance of it. I'm going to give you some tips to assist in that as well. But like I said, we can always look at astrology to see what is happening. And with that, that's the number one thing, right? The symptom from the impact of the coronavirus. That's one thing to look at that implicates what is being said here to be truth. So another thing to look for is, and I just seen this floating around. Like, I don't know how true this is because, there's so many blogs and news stations and everything going on now, but it looked kind of official at first glance. It said that the Department of Justice has put out a report or some type of address to phrase in some type of way that they want to eliminate the constitutional rights during this shutdown in the city. And I think for the United States, period. Yeah, for the United States. And, people are going to fuck off in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? It's like crazy and shit. But when I seen it, I'm like, yo, what? And then I thought about it. What's the first constitutional right? You have the right to freedom of speech. So again, speech, the throat. Taurus rules the throat, right? You see what I'm saying? So again, we could look at astrology and confirm, like, yo, this is moving in on the Taurus constructs of our life. So, but one thing that we have to look at, or you should consider at least, before, reacting, responding, and making up your mind and start making rash decisions, is that there are occultists that consult politicians. Okay? So, I'm looking at the face of the dude who said this, and to me, like, and I could be wrong, but I just intuitively felt like this dude didn't come up with that shit. Like, he was told to come out to the podium and say that shit. He looks like he has the face of the person who will carry it out. Like, yeah, I don't give a fuck, I'll say it. They'll take pictures of me. Like, he has that type of face. But I don't think that bright idea came from him, and I call it a bright idea, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's because it's a play on your rebellion. It's a tactic. You can call it a fear tactic because it might have you in fear, or you might see your cousin get in fear from it, and you're like, oh, the fucking fear tactics, these motherfuckers. And it's just like, really, it's just a play on your rebellion because Uranus wants to have its day. Uranus wants to ignite rebellion in whatever, side of the spectrum you land on in that rebellion, it's a win-win situation for Uranus. You get what I'm saying? As long as there's a rebellion fought, as long as there's some type of movement that supports freedom and liberation, Uranus is doing its job. So if the politician gets on the podium and says, we're threatening to shut down your freedom of speech, and you're already in the comment section like, man, fuck that. Like, you wildin'. Ain't nobody gonna stop me from talking. Fuck out of here. We going on our shield or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Then that is your side of the rebellion. Or you can tap in and realize that this is occurring the way that it's occurring, and there's actually different sides of the spectrum, and you can say, I'll just watch everybody react and respond and kill each other and act like fucking animals, and I'll be over here like eating apple strudels and drinking Earl Grey tea. Like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm cool as a fucking wind. And that would constitute you being on the other side of the rebellion, though, right? Because you might not be active and activated in the reaction to someone taking your constitutional right, but somewhere along the lines you're going to be categorized or found on some side of the spectrum. You might be silent the whole entire time. Like, I don't need to speak, motherfucker. I am telepathic. You understand? I have hive mind capabilities. I will contact my partner in France tonight, you motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? So that might be your side of the rebellion. You know, like, someone had to give you a right to speak anyway. Like, get the fuck out of here. Now, don't get me twisted, though. There have been dictators that said you can't speak against the king, you know. You can't speak against the chancellor. And they'll, like, have you executed and shit. So I'm not making a joke of that, all right? I'm not. But what I'm saying is, this is America, motherfucker. I guess that's what I'm really saying. Like, you ain't gonna give us some shit and then take it away and be like, you wildin'. So that's one thing to look at as well. Now, here are some tips to go along with this whole thing, and it derives from you gotta look at the bright side of this whole Uranus thing as well. You now have a way to speak and get heard in a way that you didn't have before. So what I mean, like, okay, New York City is 2 major radio stations that play music, right? And they cultivate and narrow the type of music, rap music, to a certain sound during a certain time. And they may even peg it to certain music labels. And it's purposely done that way to keep control of it. Right? So it's like, no matter what, you're going to hear the same 15 to 20 songs every day of your life. And you may not think that that has some type of impact on your life. It does, though. Whether you want to admit it or not, that's up to you. I don't care. So what that does is, music is very powerful and influential. It has some, like I said, right? So what I'm really explaining here is the power of radio frequencies, which is also ruled by Uranus. So now this internet thing, you gotta understand, right? What happened when YouTube started blowing up and growing, which it still is? The corporations, the labels came swooping in and said, look, we'll pay you tons of money to advertise our stuff on your platform. YouTube took it, of course. They're going to make some money, right? They took the ad dollars, and then it transpired into, now you turn on your YouTube feed and you see all of these Marvel movies, motherfuckers, and all that shit. Like, this shit ain't for y'all niggas. Like, get the fuck out of here. Kick rocks, B. But I get it, you know what I'm saying? I still fucks with Google and all that, because they know how to get them. They know how to get to the money. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, the personalized experience for that liberation that we sought and found in YouTube is gradually being eroded by the high-priced, greedy establishments that are already pretty much established. Like, I don't give a fuck about Marvel movies when I turn on YouTube. That's just me. That's how I felt, because I grew up in a YouTube culture. You understand what I'm saying? So my point, though, is that this internet capability, this technology, is a threat to traditional ways of doing things, and Uranus is a planet of change. It will usher in the new world. So Trust me when I tell you, Uranus is figuring out ways to topple that shit and make some new shit, right? So there's gonna be a new YouTube. There's going to be more YouTubes, or there's just going to be something that throws the old establishment off again for some new shit that Uranus can find for the people to unite and group up and rebel against the old. That's really what it's going to come down to. Now, I'm not saying to take action to outright do this overtly. You can be covert about it. You can also become part of the establishment and get within it and then change the traditional views to the new views. It's like children born with Uranus inside of Capricorn, right? It's like that's the role that they play in society. And I always said before, like, I think Aquariuses are like the greatest infiltrators of the zodiac, because they will like turn themselves into a hybrid to enter a group, because that's what their sole purpose is, to be inside of a group. But their aloofness and their distant social distancing, right? Their ability to be distant from the group at the same time kind of gives off a flag like, yo, they're with us, but they're not really with us. What's that about? You know what I'm saying? So you have the ability to now network, group up, and voice yourself and reach many different frequencies, because everyone who has a device now is a radio station. This is how you should look at it. Everyone who's holding a device is a radio station. If you learn how to contact that person, and what do they call people now? Social media influencers. I don't see myself as that, but it's giving itself a name. This is what I mean, right? So now what are the corporations doing? They're trying to like track down influencers too and offer them bags to like promote their products and shit. You get what I'm saying? And just like YouTube did, I'm not going to down you if you take the bag and shit. I'm just saying, do you see the liberation and the freedom in that, instead of being offered half the money in a corporation who's wants to keep the wage as low as possible to prevent you from, rising to the type of power that you can to overthrow them. You know what I'm saying? So like Jeff Bezos is where he's at, is because there's no competition. But this is the type of dude who wants a new Amazon to come along. He wants you to invest yourself, your education in technology, and he's actually giving out fucking money to his own employees to make their own startups. Like, this is how much money this motherfucker's worth, and it's because people get so comfortable with the product and service that's being offered to them, the convenience of technology. Like, you can fucking order a parrot's feather from France, and Amazon will bring it to you. And you're like, oh, that's so great. Like, I'll never go against Amazon. And it's like, yo, Dick, he wants you to make a fucking new Amazon. He's fucking ridiculously rich. Like, just do it already, So this is what is at hand right now. So I would say this, though. The frequencies of 5G technology is too early. There's just a lot of this stuff is too soon, too early. So you should get educated on technology before utilizing it. I would say, like, Amazon Prime has this feature, for example, to where you can download the movies, take them into your device, and then go into your home. Like, I personally just shut off my home Wi-Fi because after doing the crunching the numbers, it's not worth what it's priced at. It's just not worth it. I can make a huger return if I just go to the library and upload and download, or if I just go to internet cafes and upload and download. I'll make more money that way. And not only that, I get to refrain from the beams of that technology that's not tested on human flesh yet, right? And I've tinkered with it. Trust me when I tell you. When y'all see my short film, you're gonna see. But I don't want to be the guinea pig at full extent, right? Like, oh, look at me now. My skin is dripping off my face. I just wanted to show you this, guys. Nah, I'm not fighting the war like that. But these are the types of tips that you can do to avoid the radiation, because the radiation is like a mimicry of the sun. Because the sun gives off radiation too. The same way that you look at your devices, they give off radiation too. And that's probably what my next Uranus video is going to be about, of how it's